Today, we're talking about family dynamics, specifically how to not argue with your family, how to argue better with your family, all of the above.
I think I'm triggered, man.
You are? Before we even begin, he's triggered. I'm kind of triggered by the sauna that we're currently in. It's like 90 degrees in our studio at the moment.
It's really hot in here, man.
Our AC's busted. We're going through a heat wave, so...
Nellie's in here rapping. It's hot in here, man. It's hot, man.
I was like, I didn't get the reference.
Yeah,
Nellie's in here. What? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? That calls for just straight up intro.
Let's do it.
I'm not even going to pay attention to that. I'm just going to go. Welcome to 12-Week Relationships. This is your place for better relationships in weeks, not years. My name is Pye.
I'm Dr. Glen.
When we say relationships, we mean all of them, starting with yourself, working on outwards, and of course, romance, marriage, all that. But today, it's about the family. How to not argue with your family. Before we jump into this, if you guys want to sign up for the newsletter, you can find it at 12weekrelationships.com. We're working hard on our online coaching programs, and as soon as those are available, we will let you all know. I feel like I'm slurring my words. I promise I haven't been drinking.
It's just hot, man. It's just really hot in here.
It's like, let's get through this as quickly as possible because...
the last one, I was doing like this, man. I could feel the beads.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
It's warm.
Yeah.
But it's cool. We're burning some calories. Okay. Well, we have some tips here when it comes to, family disagreements and whatnot. But I guess the first thing is to be able to agree to disagree.
So before doing that, I think you have to
before agreeing to disagree.
Even before that, you have to look at your family dynamics. So there's two dynamics. One, if you have a healthy or healthy-ish dynamic, that means that basically you can talk to people in your family and then there's a give and take. Hey, Pye, what's your point of view? Okay, cool. This is my point of view. Let's try to work something out. So if you can kind of or relatively be able to do that, that's a healthy family dynamic. Mm-hmm. So then you can walk in and I agree to disagree. That'll work, right? However, if you're in a dysfunctional family environment, which means rationalization makes you the weakest link. So I'm like, hey, Pye, can I talk to you about this? And you're like, yo, man, you pissed me off, da da da. And then you're like, okay, now it's my turn. Man, shut the F up, fool. Like you just, you become the weakest link. Like when you're trying to rationalize and then you're just getting shit on mm-hmm. and you're being treated like you're just like a wet rag, that means that you're in a very dysfunctional environment. That means your languaging and your approach has to completely change.
I like this. What you've just said is Dr. Glen is saying that we have a step 0 before there can be a step 1.
Pretty much. So you have to assess your family. So if you're going to talk to family members that are in a dysfunctional space, you cannot use rationalization because it's not going to work.
Well, okay. Might as well start with that. So let's say I feel like every family is dysfunctional to a degree.
But there's people within pockets where they're more agreeable. Sure. Especially when it comes together. If you're going to do a family meeting and it's dysfunctional, that's probably not a good idea. Or you have to understand what you're dealing with, and then you're going to have to communicate on terms that dysfunctional people will understand.
Yeah.
So you have to know your game plan.
I also feel like there's dysfunctional members of the family, but then there's also dysfunctional moments in the family where it's like at certain times things might be able to have, it might be healthy. You might be able to have a basic conversation to agree to disagree, all this type of stuff. But then there's other times where other things are going on and it's not operating in a healthy or functional manner. It's not worth going there.
See, it shows our dynamics because you're coming from this see, it's relatively okay and then it's not okay. I'm just no, it's probably not okay most of the time. And then you have pockets where it's normal. That's what I heard from you, man. And then you have those moments, you got to find those moments. But for the most part,
I can tell you're very passionate about the subject. You got a lot to share.
Because because I had to follow everything that I had to do it myself.
Yeah.
This one's personal to me. Yeah, I had to I was the one that was doing that. Hey, uncle, this is okay. You're cussing me out, but I can see you're upset. But okay, let me get my turn now. Yo, man, F you, right? And I'd just be like, yeah, okay, man. And then we just go on. So it was through personal experience.
So when you bring up the example, you're actually referring back
I'm referring to me. And then it was learning oh, wow, that doesn't work. I'm just, excuse my language. I'm just being the little bitch right now, right? So I'm just taking everyone's shit, right? And then it's okay, cool. I have to learn to communicate in a different way.
Okay, so let's stay there for just a moment since you're already there in this
and
space.
It's hot. It's hot. Symbolically hot outside and I'm hot on the inside.
You're
man.
angry because it's just like you can feel it.
I could feel the
heat.
could feel the
But that's
yeah.
literally like temperature heat. So like don't
it is
get
hot.
it twisted. I'm not your uncle, okay?
Yeah, I'm sweating because not because of you. It's just hot.
Well, okay, so in a dysfunctional family unit, let's say that you're right, that you have some family members that are completely dysfunctional. And what do you do in those cases then? So there is no agreeing to disagree. There is no conversation. There's no space for anything.
So you have like your points, like you have to have like 2 points basically, like that you want to be able to get across. And then you just keep repeating it over and over. And then when they're shitting on you, you're an insult. You're this terrible person. And then you have to agree with them. So instead of like taking it and arguing, because that causes more chaos, you gotta be like, I probably am a terrible person, but let me let you know this. I'm going to be leaving soon and we need our money back. But you're right. I am a big shithead. However, we still need our money back.
We need to play this out. We need to role play this. You're talking dialectic therapy basically, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So you're going to be the shitty uncle because you seem to be very well aware of what that looks like.
Thanks, man.
And I'm going to be you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, cool, man.
So your insult.
Oh, are we going to play this one out?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're going to play this out. This is how you're going to handle you're going to go back to dialectic therapy, which is this basically, it's going to sound very childish because I'm basically just going to repeat the same thing over and over to my uncle here. So you say your piece.
Okay, let me see. Where should I start? You're just a little shit. You're a little shit and you need to continue to do what you're doing.
You're right. I just need you to give me my money back.
Yeah, but that's not the point, man. You're still a shit.
You're right. Just give me my money.
This is why I'm not giving you the money back, because you're being a shit.
You're right. Give me my money.
Nah.
You're right. Just give me my money.
Nah.
You just give me my money and I'll take off.
You know, you're being a real dick right now.
I know. Just give me my money.
Okay, you're being so annoying. I'll give you your fucking money. Like,
boom. Done. Please do not take this into a healthy family dynamic. This was specifically for this kind of like, what you're basically saying right now to kind of unpack this is that when you're dealing with someone that's dysfunctional, that is not healthy, that can't have a conversation, there's no conversation to be had. So we're going back to this dialectic response of just repeating the exact same thing over and over until I get what I need, which is one thing. I just need one thing.
And then a visual too is basically they're trying to transfer their crazy onto you. And then once they see you're like all messed up, then they can control you. You're just pushing the crazy back.
Yeah, because if I'm like, you know, well, why do you feel like I'm a shithead? Oh, do you hear the bubble? I got a good bubble right now.
Oh, sweet.
Do you hear that? Every time I get a good frog bubble, you know, like the bubbles in your throat, I feel like I have to like take on like a voice, like I have to do. Anyway.
Sweet, man.
Okay, bubble's gone. So if I were to ask you though, if I were to stay in that moment and be like, well, uncle, tell me why you feel like I'm being a shithead.
Yeah, like, uncle, I see you're upset.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's my turn. Then you're just I'll be like, shut up, man.
Yeah, you're just gonna go off.
Yeah. What are you talking about? It's still my turn, right? And then I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, because you're almost begging.
You're gonna be 30 minutes ago. Okay, uncle, you said your piece. Can I get mine?
Can I get my turn? No, man, I'm not finished, right? So you're that lets you know, because if you're in a healthy environment, that would be rewarded, right? Okay, cool, man. Like you've had thanks for being considerate. Mm-hmm. Thanks for giving me my time. What do you want to say? Yeah. It only works in a healthy environment. In a dysfunctional environment, you're just the weakest link. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
I gotta say, I'm loving this episode so far. This is gold.
Really?
On so many levels.
Is it?
It's entertainment gold. It's like knowledge gold. It's getting to see you be uncle gold. Like this is, it
brings out like the ghetto in me, man. It really does, man. But I mean, anyway, yeah.
Okay. Next step. You're in a sometimes healthy or just not dysfunctional moment. Then we get to kind of, agreeing to disagree, right?
Yes.
And this is a lost art form in and of itself. I feel like since 2020, we have kind of derailed in our ability to agree to disagree. How many friends and family members have you seen cut each other off because of who they voted for?
Political views, all of that stuff.
Or whether they're vaccinated or not.
No, it's true. It's very extreme. It's very extreme. So in this scenario, there should be a healthy dynamic of having different opinions and agreeing to disagree, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's in a healthy space though.
we're going to stay in a healthy space for a little bit. Are you
Are
okay
we,
to
though?
stay there?
Are we going to do that?
Yeah, we are. I know you want to get back to the dysfunctional
No, I'm good.
one.
No, I'm actually relaxed. Like, okay, cool, man. Let's be in a healthy space right now.
But every time we talk about it, you're like, but remember, that's only in a healthy relationship dynamic.
Yeah, man, because we're talking about unhealthy, man. If the topic was healthy, I'd be in a calmer space.
Okay, what I want to say in this is that I think it's important to understand that when it comes to your friendships, you choose those relationships. When it comes to, business partners, you're choosing those. You're who you're going to date, you're choosing those. Who you marry, for the most part, you're choosing.
Yeah.
When it comes to your family, there's not a choice there. Who you're related to by blood is not a choice. So obviously, these are going to be people that have different views. They are their own individuals, and they're not necessarily going to share your values because you didn't pick these people. So there has to be some level of, it's okay. I mean, it has to be okay to disagree, like to agree to disagree, to share differing viewpoints. And I don't just mean within the family, I mean in general. That's the place where you actually get to grow. When you and I can hold different opinions on things and we can share those things, then the new perspective that is gained from that is the potential for both of us to grow. This is how every business, every product, every service, every musician, every possible thing is improved, is through that space of sharing and growing and challenge and conflict. So yeah, within the family where you're not choosing these relationships, there needs to be that understanding, that ability to agree to disagree.
Yeah. And then, even if people disagree and then something to be true, then you just leave it at that. Like, you don't have to prove what you believe. You just do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're on to tip number 3. And you're going to help me to, you'll help all of us to differentiate which of these is for healthy and unhealthy family dynamics.
You got it, man.
I think we know.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
But number 3, this was actually number 2, but now it's number 3. Appropriate boundaries. Setting appropriate boundaries and expectations. What does that look like?
So a healthy family has what's known as clear boundaries, which means that it's firm and flexible and it promotes independence.
I think oftentimes people think boundaries are like hard lines where it's like,
no,
don't do that. I'm not going to tolerate this. F off, mom. I'm sorry. I'm kind of going back.
No, that's good.
I tried that on my dad once when I was younger.
Yeah.
That was such a bad idea.
What happened, man?
Okay, so I'm in the neighborhood. We're playing capture the flag.
Yeah.
And my white friends convinced me to do something that a brown person should never do. My dad came out on the doorstep, was like, "Pye, it's time to come home." And my friends, who are all Caucasian with their families, were like, "Just tell your dad to F off, man. You have your own rights. You can stay out as long as you want and play." So I went home.
Oh.
And I was like, "F off, Dad. I'm going to stay out and play."
Ooh.
And he's like, "That's cool. When you get home, just come see me." I did.
Yeah.
There was belts and
I'm sure
lots of things that were involved in that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a different culture, man.
No, but that's not a boundary, though. That's not,
You want to process this with me? See, you're getting triggered too, man. Come to this side, man.
I think Russell Peters had a bit on that. And when he said it, I thought, it sounds like this came straight from my childhood. But I think every immigrant child has tried that once with their parents, and
it doesn't work.
No, it's not a good idea.
I remember I brought a bee home, and then my Caucasian friend was like, "Oh, I'm going to tell my mom." And she was like, they're hugging him. And then I was like, "Oh, cool. Like, I think that's going to happen when I go home. I got to be, you stupid shit. How did you get an A? That was wrong with you, man." And I was like, "You're happy about that's it." And I was like punished for that. I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy."
You're like, this did not go how I expected.
This isn't as I planned, man. This is not how it's supposed to go.
Tommy's result was so much better than mine.
Yeah. I was like, "Tommy, I can't play, man."
Anyway.
You got McDonald's, but I didn't, okay?
So these are not boundaries. Telling your family off, being rude, being offensive, that's not a boundary. What is a boundary?
Boundaries are the rule sets that take place within the family. So they're just like rules about like cleaning, but then there's emotional rules, right? So like emotional rules that take place. So clear boundaries from an emotional standpoint is every person has the right to be who they are as a person. And then at the same time, it's within a family dynamic, making sure that the family it can move and adapt to all the changes that are taking place. So it's a firm, flexible state where everyone can be their own person, share their feelings. There's a give and take. It's an open system. And then the family is moving in a progressive direction. That's a clear boundary.
Okay. You said a lot of words, but I still don't understand.
Really?
I'm just kidding. I kind of get it, but I'm gonna like spell it out for me. I'm gonna be your dad.
If you're okay, so for example, like
not your daddy though. I'm your dad.
In a family dynamic, the parents are in charge. Oh yeah.
He completely missed this. I think you're only thinking about the heat in here.
The dad and daddy.
No. Okay. So if I am your father,
yeah,
I'm your father.
Okay.
What would be an appropriate boundary that you would set with me? Give me a specific example.
Wait, so I'm the son and then you're the dad.
Yeah. Do you want me to be the son?
No, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just because you're saying what's the appropriate boundary. I'm the kid. I'm supposed to follow your rules.
Well, you're an adult child. But let's say that I come over to your house and I'm like, son, this is how you need to parent your children. Let me show you. This is what I did when you were younger. Mm-hmm. This is what you got to do.
Yeah. So I would say I respect your opinion, but no.
Why are you so bad at this?
I don't understand what you want me to do, man. Like, okay, let me. I don't understand. I don't know where you're going with this. Like, the boundary would be no.
I can't. I don't know if it's the heat, dude. I can't deal with you today. It's like,
what do you want me to do, Daddy? No.
Daddy, no. As an adult man, I don't want you to call me daddy. That's for sure.
Like, Dad, no. And then you need to probably get out of the house, man. Like, I don't.
Okay, what?
Okay.
Let's reverse this.
Okay.
See, this is where my kindness, my flirting.
Back to the previous episode. The
help.
Flirting is taking place.
Yeah, being kind, being flirtatious. Maybe something like, Dad, you're welcome to come over anytime, but if you're gonna give me advice on parenting, you can go home, or I need some space, or just don't give me advice on that, or whatever it might be.
No, that's a really good thing to do if it's a healthy dynamic. But if it's not, see, like going back, like you can say that, and then if they come over and they do those things, no, because it'll probably be dysfunctional, and at that point, then you have to really limit set.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this isn't working out, man.
Okay.
You need to be a better. But you know what? This isn't working out. So I think I'm gonna pack your dinner, and you need to go.
That would be on the dysfunctional side. I'm gonna pack your dinner. You gotta go.
Yeah.
So that would be a boundary on that side, which you're very familiar with.
But on the healthy side, right, this is where we're going.
Yes, give me a healthy boundary. Oh my gosh, I can't deal.
Okay.
This is where Dr. Glen goes back to LMB, the whole, lick my balls statement.
Yeah, lick my balls.
Because in any sort of dysfunctional environment, your boundaries do have to be like they're as dysfunctional as the environment. They are just straight up hardcore. No, you gotta go. No.
Okay.
LMB.
Okay, cool. So okay. Let's go back to that. So the daddy thing. Okay, Dad. Yeah.
You can't even say it without being like.
Okay. So please do not bring up parenting. House.
You have only practiced in the dysfunctional setting.
It sounds so unnatural, but yeah, okay. So yeah, please do not bring that up, because I want to do it my own way. And if it gets out of hand, then I'm going to please ask you to leave. Papa.
It's like pulling teeth from you.
Because it's so unnatural, man. Like,
Glen's okay. So your family dynamic is on the more dysfunctional side, and that's what you're comfortable with.
No, I mean,
that's what you're practiced with.
In a natural state, I'd be like, look, man, if you're gonna bring it up, then you should not come.
Okay.
Period. But hopefully you can, because I would like to have a good time. But if not, you're out.
You were good until that last piece. Oh my gosh. Okay. Healthy boundaries. Good. Healthy boundaries. Let's move on to, we have the boundaries things covered. So you're basically drawing a line, and it's not so much about like you're not really telling them what you need them to change. It's not about them. It's just simply about what you are going to do, right? This is like, look, if you're going to continue this, I'm not going to invite you over as much.
But you're setting a clear boundary. And then there's the other two unhealthy boundaries, which is the rigid boundaries which is like if there's too many rules and then you just have to follow rules, then you're emotionally not going to be invested in that dynamic. So if a person is very rigid with their boundaries, then that's where you got to limit that with them. Or if they're too enmeshed, did you hear about so-and-so? Did you hear that Johnny and so? And then they're just sharing all these things, and it's like this triangulation that's taking place. Then you need to.
We have that one too, dude.
Yeah, but you need to like pull it. So that's why when you're setting clear boundaries, in that example, like, look, man, if they're rather rigid or enmeshed, look, bro, follow the rules.
Be nice.
Follow the rules, or else this isn't going to work out. Like, we're just going to have an early night.
Stop.
Yeah, that's it.
Stop.
Yeah, I did.
Because if you don't, I'm going to kick your ass out.
No,
that's what's going on in Dr. Glen's head.
No, actually, I'm in a better place. That would have been it.
That would have been.
And then if it escalates, then yeah, man, like get the hell out of my house. Get the hell out of my house, man.
Okay, what about the other side of that, the proper expectation side? This one is an interesting one because I think oftentimes we expect our family, just like other people, we expect them to be people that they're not.
Sure.
So that's not really so much as we kind of lump this together as like proper boundaries and proper expectations, because you shouldn't set a boundary where someone is just like, this isn't who they are. You know what I mean? Like expecting, if mom is just not the empathetic person, it shouldn't be, mom, if you can't empathize, then you're not welcome to come over here.
No, really, I agree with you. So going back to my previous example, I'm not saying be empathetic. I'm just saying, listen, man, like there's certain things, just don't cross that line, man. Don't be a habitual line crosser.
Line stepper.
Exactly, right? Like that is a realistic expectation.
All right. All right. Okay. So that, yes, appropriate expectations based on the individual.
Correct.
The next piece, pick your battles. So I'm just going to leave space for you to take over right now.
Yeah, so you wrote that one, right?
I did write that one.
Pick no battles. There's no battles to pick, man. Like, you can take all of your crap and you take it back. Like, you just push it back, man. There is no battle to fight. Like, it's like, and you just push it back.
Okay, you're going to give the dysfunctional side of this. I'm going to give the more healthy side of this, okay? So in a healthy family dynamic, there are certain conversations that are worth having and certain conversations that are not worth having. Like if I actually enjoy spending time with my brother and I want to do that regularly, but there's, something that he does that's bothering me that I have resentment for, I still want to spend time with my brother. So me saying, hey, look, dude, this is something that I wanted to talk to you about because it's bringing up like this. This is how it's making me feel. That is worth having the conversation about. But if it's just like, maybe he comes over and he eats my food and it's annoying, but it's my brother. And maybe he does this, maybe there's certain things, again, it goes back to expectations where I'm like, I wish he had more etiquette or, doing this kind of a thing. Well, I gotta pick and choose which of these things actually matter. And if it's just a small thing that's like, this is the way that I would behave in someone else's home and it's annoying that he does that, but not a big deal, let it go. But if it's one of those things that could bring resentment and you value the relationship, then you speak on it. Now, the dysfunctional side, would you like to take that over? Don't pick your battles. Just
you don't pick your battles. So like, for example, like if there's family things, responsibilities that need to be taken care of, have those conversations and have discussions about what people, what family members are going to do. But then anything beyond that, then it's not a discussion.
Well, it goes back to the very beginning, right? Where we said, don't go into these conversations when in reality, you need just like a straightforward back and forth response. What you're saying is, I shouldn't be asking you, hey, why isn't it that you pay, like, why don't you pay me back when you borrow money from me? Because it's pointless to go and pick that battle. It's more about going to you and saying, I just need you to pay me back.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then if they don't do that, then that's where it goes to the LMB, right? Like, okay, cool. Then we're pretty much done.
If anyone is confused on LMB,
yeah,
just go back a few episodes.
Yeah. But anyway, so going back to this side, right? It's like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, right? But like ultimately just focus on what you need to focus on. And then like you're saying, expectations, the expectations are low. Like you're not going to, if there's a moment of understanding, great. But if for the most part, just look, man, like these are the things that I just want to cover. And after that, then we were cool, man.
Yeah.
And I don't need explanations, or I don't need anything after that.
Yeah. Every
Yeah.
time you say lowered expectations, I think of the, there's like a Mad TV skit. Remember that?
I remember
The
Mad
dating
TV.
hotline. Lowered expectations. You know,
Was that Mad TV?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They
Cool.
had the personal ads from like the, anyway.
Yeah, I remember.
While
Mad
you were
TV
saying
though.
that, that's where my head went.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Numero 5.
Oh, he made it to 5.
We made it to 5.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't allow for triangulation.
Yeah, so triangulators. So know the triangulators in your family. So that's when a 2-person problem becomes a 3-person problem, 4-person problem, 5-person problem.
Why don't you give us a example of this?
So I'm like, hey, Pye, I was really hurt by...
Wait, hold on. What am I? Am I your brother? Am I your sister?
You be my brother, man. You
Okay.
are my brother, man.
Okay, I'm your brother.
Cool.
Okay.
And then, okay, so you want
What's up, bro?
Healthy or unhealthy? Oh, yeah, because you're doing the healthy, huh?
You're giving the example, so why don't you do dysfunctional?
Why are you always associating me with dysfunctional today,
We've
man?
already taken on these roles. Stick with it.
Okay. Hey, Pye, just letting you know, like, we got into like a little scuffle. Like, we got into a little argument, but everything's cool, okay? It's cool, man. Cool?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And then later on, then a 3rd person, a 4th person comes, and then they're like, hey, Pye, why did you say that about Glen? And then they're starting to attack you.
I'm like,
Well-
that's weird because he said everything was fine to me.
And then I'd be like, oh, I don't know what's going on, man. I think there's a misunderstanding. So now they're upset. They're cussing you out.
Why are you guys upset with me? He said
like,
everything
oh,
was fine.
Oh, right. And then it's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, right? So now I'm causing all this chaos instead of just being direct with you and handling it directly. That is the most dysfunctional person in a family. They are the triangulator.
And if I am faced with that, then I'm going to say, hey, look, mom and dad or extra brother and sister or whoever you've pulled into it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, you know what? You guys don't worry about it. I'll deal with him directly. We'll resolve it directly.
That's in a healthy dynamic, right? But if it's dysfunctional and it's all enmeshed and all this chaos is taking place, then it's not going to work. That's where you got to...
GTFO, LMB.
LMB. Listen, man. And then you got to take your stand. And then you just got to keep repeating it and then make your point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we were to play that out in that dysfunctional family unit and let's reverse roles now. So
Yeah.
I'm the one that's going and triangulating and
Yeah.
our brother and sister come into it and
Yeah.
why did you hurt Pye's feelings?
And I'd be like, first of all, this is your victim. You're acting like a victim right now. And then you're also being really aggressive and you're getting everyone involved because you're the chaotic one. You can't say that you're the chaotic one. I don't care what the hell you guys say. You guys can lick my balls right now. Lick it. The point is that you are the chaotic one and you readdress it back. And then at that point, you're being really clear. And then it sends a message. The person that's triangulating, you're diffusing their power. And then the people that are the sheep, they're watching you. And at that point, then they're going to lay back. And then they're just going to let it go.
I love that I get to call you a doctor.
See, I feel like, at the core of me, man, I'm just this kid that grew up,
You're honest, bro. Because let's face it, every single psychologist and therapist goes into this because they have some shit to deal with.
No, for sure. I have a lot of shit to do.
You don't go into it with like,
I have a lot of shit. It's this dichotomous thing because it's
I'm a
like,
super happy and healthy person, but I just want to learn about family dynamics and trauma. No, people go into this field because they've dealt with stuff and they want to understand why.
I get it.
So I appreciate that you're
So
real
it's,
about
it's a dichotomous nature, man.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying it's a compliment.
No, I appreciate that, man. Even though you keep saying you're dysfunctional, Glenn. Okay, it's yours, right?
These are just the roles that we have taken on. You have naturally fallen into this.
I'm just playing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're going to stop the triangulation. And
Yeah.
in a healthy dynamic, you could actually discuss your way through it. In an unhealthy dynamic, you're literally going to put a hard stop onto it and
Yeah.
not let it go further.
Correct.
Numero 6. This is our final one.
Oh, okay.
I think you wrote this.
Did I?
If necessary, take a break.
Oh, I said break off. Break off meaning like
Judas Priest, man.
like, break off meaning like you got to know when to call it
I
quits.
thought you meant take a break.
No.
Once again,
no.
naturally falling into
Dude,
healthy and unhealthy.
You got to break it off. Like once you know, like, okay, this is toxic. And then like you're being scapegoated or like it's moving in that direction. That's a sign that, you know what? you're getting stronger and healthier, it's time for you to move on. Like you really need to set firm limits.
Yeah, but couldn't you also say that, like, well, your family members, these are people that can change and evolve too. So maybe you take a break for a time.
You do. I mean, it doesn't mean like forever.
Okay,
but it just means that you start you pull away your energies and you focus more on what you're doing. And then the crazy thing is like through this whole journey of my life, right? Like now I'm meeting family members and it's really genuine and sincere. So when we're getting together, it's in this really healthy space.
Mm-hmm.
There's a healing component. There's a genuineness of wanting to be together versus obligation. Like all of those things are starting to fall.
So you're understanding a little more what I'm saying now.
The healthier side. Yeah, totally. But the topic, what's today's topic, bro? What's today's topic?
Arguing, okay.
Yeah.
So but, I mean, arguments arguments are natural. Conflict is natural even in a healthy environment. But there is such a thing as like healthy conflict versus unhealthy.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I appreciate that you're bringing into the unhealthy side of this aspect because it's an important thing to discuss too. But on this topic of like, cutting it off or just taking a break or whatever it is, I mean, in any relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's it really doesn't matter what the relationship is, there should always be space for a person to be able to take a break if they want to take a break. And the nice thing is when you're related by blood, you always have that relationship. It's always going to be a blood relationship. So taking a break and being like, you know what, we're not good around each other right now. Like we don't bring out the best in each other. It's just, we're on two different wavelengths. Taking a break is actually what's the most healthy thing for the relationship. And it could be a couple weeks, it could be months, it could be years. But eventually, you come back to it or you give it another shot because, you're blood and you want to, give room and space for each person to change and evolve. And if it doesn't change, you take another break until it either gets better or it doesn't.
No, I agree with you.
You're laughing.
No, I do. I'm with you. And then that goes back to the last point. It's not working. It's like, it's time to break that off.
It's time to be done.
Time to break that off, man. Like, because to me, that was, that was a sign of health for me because the more I tried to like rationalize the dysfunction, that meant like I was still in it versus like when I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to understand this anymore.
I agree with you.
That was a breaking off point for me. Like, oh, okay, I'm really getting healthy because I'm not interested in any of this anymore.
I agree with you 100% that it's very easy to fall into like families fight, families are dysfunctional, families do this. Like it's very easy to fall into the justification of it when in reality, toxic is toxic. It's going to be draining regardless. And you can still be family. But I think that's the piece that I'm talking about is you can love somebody without getting along with them right now. You can have that in a close friendship. You can have that in a marriage, and you can have that in family relationships. Mm-hmm. I could love you, but be like, you know what? Right now, we're just not good for each other. We're not good, and we're going to take a little bit of break. But it doesn't have to be like this 0 or 1 type game. This, we're either family or we don't know each other type thing. It can be, no, we're family, but we're not getting along right now. I love you, but I don't want to spend time with you right now.
No, that's really beautiful, man.
This is what I'm here to do, to balance out.
No. Okay. So this is my thing. As long as a family member has good intent, you laughing, man?
That's very beautiful, man. That's very beautiful.
As long as a person has really good intentions toward you and the relationship itself, then that's fine. But if you don't, and you have all these ulterior motives, and that's when it's time to break it. But
you can be in that space for a time, is what I'm saying. Like you can be at odds with each other and it might last that way for years. And then after certain things happen, both people get to a place where they can better understand each other, and then it's something great again. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. But that means that's two mutual people because they genuinely want to be in that
Correct.
space.
When you're in that space of like, this is toxic. No, it's toxic. Like don't justify it. Don't do anything. Like cut it off for the time being. Yeah. But what I'm saying is in your head, I'm saying this because I have the tendency, or at least one of the things that I've worked hard at is not binary thinking, right? For me, it always used to be, we're either best friends or I don't want to know you. We're either family or we're nothing. We're either this or we're that. And I think it's very easy to fall into that because we want to simplify. We want to oversimplify each of these things. And it's almost a very disturbing thought because if someone was family at one point and now they're nothing, then I have to grieve the fact that they're nothing. But if I can just hold space to say, we're family, but we're not getting along right now, I don't have to grieve anything. I just take space.
No, agree. That's a huge distinction. Like breaking someone off doesn't mean it's nothing. It just means that we're still family, but at a distance.
Well, I'm just helping to clarify your.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I'm in one context, I'm here to balance out Dr. Glen's academic, approach with something practical, and in another context, I'm gonna balance out the anger. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We represent two very different experiences, which I think is awesome. Both from the, it's actually been one of the, just on a serious note, we've had a lot of fun in this episode, but on a serious note, the perspectives that we bring to what we do is incredible to me, because you're coming from 20 years of not only your own family dynamics and all the experiences you've had, but also from this clinical, professionally trained background. I'm coming from 20 years of my personal experiences in family and also my previous marriage, and all the practical experience in human psychology and counseling and whatnot. And we get to such a unique perspective with those two sides. So anyway.
I appreciate it. Like one of the comments that someone left is that you can see the distinction in our personalities and how we were brought together and how this thing came together. So
fist bump.
Thanks, man.
Good episode, bro. Nice role playing.
I hope so, man.
Yeah. All right. We hope you all enjoyed. We did. If you guys want to leave a review for the podcast, actually, this is super helpful. It's completely free to you. You can jump onto iTunes, leave a review for 12-Week Relationships. This helps us to grow the platform, helps other people to know that it's actually a valuable place to learn, to grow, and to be entertained in the process. In the meantime, if you have any critique, any questions, any thoughts that you want to share with us, you can jump onto Instagram at 12-Week Relationships. That's where you can not only find our shorts and kind of like little bite-sized pieces of content that you can watch, share, all that, but you can also message us and tell us your thoughts, your critique, all of it. We also have the newsletter available at 12weekrelationships.com. This is where you want to sign up for, not only for awesome, not weekly, but when we send out emails, they're good. Like handwritten messages, good, insightful stuff. And also, if you're interested in coaching, when we have the online coaching programs available, we will let everybody know that's on the newsletter. That's it for us. So we do have a wait list to also meet with Dr. Glen. It's getting pretty.
It's moving to July.
Yeah, so we're quite booked out. You can put your name on that. Again, what we probably would say is that the online coaching is going to be the place to go. If you're local, we will eventually get to the wait list.
No, for sure.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.
Thank you.